everybody, welcome to Garden Time with Belle. Have you ever heard that expression, you reap what you sow? Well, that's what today's video is all about. I'm going to take you all with me into my raised bed garden this morning so that I can reap some of the vegetable crops that I sowed from seed earlier this year. I really don't know what it is I'm going to be picking. We're going to go in there together and see what's ready to harvest. And I just thought it'd be great to take you all along because there are a lot of things I know I need to start picking and incorporating into my meals. And I happen to be one of those gardeners who loves to freeze a lot of things. I don't can. I've never done that before. It doesn't mean that I won't someday want to, but I prefer to freeze a lot of the veggies that I can't use right away. So that's what today's video is all about. But before we head into the raised bed garden, I'm going to ask everybody to please like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. It really helps me grow my channel and just continue to build a community with gardeners just like you. All right, got to head here inside the greenhouse just to grab a few things I'm going to need for harvest. And pretty simple, I'm going to need my harvest basket, of course. And all I need besides that are some gloves and my Felcos to do some harvesting. So let's head out into the raised bed garden. Got to go through my new little screening we put up, my netting to keep the hummingbirds out of the greenhouse and a lot of extra things like wasps that I don't want in there. So, all right, I'll turn the camera around and we were going to head inside the raised bed garden. Those of you who watch my videos on a regular basis know that I garden in a zone 6 here in mid-Missouri. We have all 4 seasons and it is hot and humid in the summer where I live. Right now, though, it's pretty early in the morning and we have a lot of cloud cover, which makes it so much more tolerable. So it's nice and cool this morning and we've got plenty of shade, which also makes it kind of nice to film. Things tend to show up a little better for you all when I have some cloud cover. So it's a good thing. So let me see where we should start. I'm thinking right here is a great spot to start, and that would be my tall new Birdie's raised beds that I planted a bunch of peppers in. So here we are at this bed here. This is my pepper bed. I am growing 7 different types of peppers, everything from a really mild bell pepper up to probably my spiciest peppers I grow are serranos. Last year I grew some habaneros, and quite honestly, they're so darn hot and they were so prolific that I froze a bunch, but we didn't end up using very many of them. I really grew them for my son who's a chili head, and I gave him some, but it just produced so much that like we couldn't eat them all. So I'm really trying hard to focus on what is it that we will really eat, that we really enjoy, and paring back how much I'm growing to just varieties that we really enjoy. So having said that, I think you probably will notice as we walk through the raised bed garden this morning is you're going to see a lot of flowers and herbs that I have grown all through my vegetables. 2 really great reasons for doing that. One, all different kinds of flower species and herb species will bring in pollinators, and we need pollinators in our garden to help us grow our veggies. So I would encourage you to consider putting in marigolds, putting in cut flowers like you've seen me harvest out of this garden. It really can help. The other benefit that I have found in my own practice is planting lots of herbs or flowers that put off a very strong odor or fragrance, like the marigolds, like Mrs. Meyer's lemon basil. They really do work in repelling certain insects that can destroy crops. When we get over to the tomatoes, I don't think there's very many over there for me to harvest today, but I'll show you how I have tucked in Mrs. Meyer's lemon basil in between all of those tomato plants, because I was reading a lot of other gardeners' suggestions that doing that, in particular that plant or that basil, it will repel the tomato hornworm. And if you've ever had tomato hornworms, which I've had every single season until I started doing that, they're the big, nasty green caterpillars that can absolutely defoliate your entire plant in a matter of hours. So I've not had one tomato hornworm caterpillar on my tomatoes this year. I think that is enough of an endorsement of why you want to try to tuck in really nice herbs and let them go to flower, some of them, because that will bring in pollinators, but also it will repel some of those things you don't want eating on your plants. So what I think I'll do is I'll get the camera in close for you all and I'll show you what I'm growing, and we need to get to reaping what I've sown. All right. Okay, I'm going to start down on this end. And on this end, I have actually two identical plants, and they are the lunchbox variety of, oh, hello, bee. Speaking of pollinators, please don't sting me. They are the lunchbox variety. So I don't know if you're like me, but you've probably seen in the grocery store those little bags of small little peppers. They're very mild and they come in red, orange, and yellow, I believe. So I love snacking on those. Love to eat them raw. And so that's what is growing here on the end. And what's interesting is what I'm discovering is they're all yellow right now, but I think they should be coming out in a couple of different colors. So I'm going to go ahead and take the yellow ones. The other thing is actually most all peppers, if you leave them on the vine long enough, they will turn red, nearly all of them. So let's get in here and see Callie Wonder. Callie Wonder, oh, so beautiful. Let me cut her. Look at this beautiful red pepper. So this is the Callie Wonder, and it's your basic bell pepper, very mild, nice thick wall. Really good for eating raw, but also for cooking. Okay, let me see here. This next pepper is an Anaheim pepper. So you can harvest them green, or like these have been on the vine. So you see how it's green and then over time it matures to a red. So I'm going to go ahead and harvest these two. So this one is totally red right here. And then this one is red and green. And then if we go up here on the plant, you can see that it's a new pepper, an Anaheim pepper, and it's still just green and smaller. Okay, time to come around on this side of the bed and show you what I'm growing and take some of these peppers off. So this one on the end, as I mentioned, is a habanero, and they are super prolific. I don't know if you all can see. Maybe I can zoom in for you. There are just, I mean, countless peppers on here, and they are really small. Let me cut off a few for you. I'm going to try to find the biggest of the smallest, if that makes any sense. They might be small, but they pack a punch. Now, they're hotter than a jalapeno, but they're not terribly hot in my opinion. So I love to use them in salsa, in Thai food, in stir fry. Anywhere I would use a jalapeno, but I want a bigger kick. I chop them up in our guacamole. So those are my serranos. So I grabbed the camera so I could get in here really close, and I hope it will focus well for you. Here are my jalapenos. Do you see those? What this is a great example of, everybody, is almost all peppers that you grow will eventually turn red if you don't harvest them green. And either time to harvest is perfect. So you can see on the same plant, here's a jalapeno. I can harvest it if I want a green one. And this one has been on the vine quite a while and I can harvest it. So both are going to be perfectly fine and delicious. And since I have the camera in nice and close, let me show you my Mrs. Meyer's lemon basil. So can you see this plant right here? Do you see how it is just tucked in there? I think I have 4 in this bed, tucked in there to provide a great place for pollinators to come, but also repelling any kind of pest. And I have had absolutely 0 pest damage on any of my peppers this year. They have just performed beautifully. So let me see if I can hold this and grab my pruners at the same time. And I'm going to just harvest a couple of these beautiful jalapenos. I had considered harvesting this one pepper last week, but I thought, you know what? I'm going to videotape this and I cannot wait to show you. So I have left this Big Bertha. Yes, that is the name of this particular mild pepper. I left her on the vine so that I could show you this ginormous, beautiful pepper. So let me cut her right now with my pruners and let's see how she looks. Whoa. I mean, when you cut a pepper and it hits the ground with a big thud, look at that. Oh my goodness. Isn't she a beauty? Now, there's a little, it's not soft, it's not rotten, but there's a little bit of I don't know, maybe a scar. I don't know what we would call that, but that's fine. I can use the rest of this pepper perfectly fine, but isn't that something, you all? I mean, wow, wow, wow. And then this little plant here on the end is another one of the lunchbox peppers. And as you can see, they have loads and loads of fruit on them, lots of peppers, but they have not yet ripened. Actually, I've been harvesting off of it. So there's a whole bunch more, just like right here. So yeah, could not be more pleased with my pepper harvest this year. So I had to run back into the greenhouse and grab my hori-hori knife because when I came to look at this bed that's got leeks, 2 rows of leeks, I saw this big, beautiful leek right here. And if I put my hand here, you can see it's pretty big, and that's what you want. You want to leave them in the ground so that they get bigger and bigger. And I think in order to harvest this leek, I'm going to gently use my hand tool here to loosen the soil to pull it up because I don't want to destroy it. So I actually am going to put the camera on a tripod because I'm going to need both hands for this job. So hopefully I've got the camera positioned well enough where I can show you how to harvest leeks. Now leeks, if you've never grown them, are a very mild form of onion. Leeks are really quite common in French cooking and Italian cooking. A lot of Europeans, potato and leek soup, if you've ever heard of that. Anyways, I grow them because I love to cook, but also because they are very, very expensive in the supermarket, like super expensive. And so I thought, my goodness, I need to just be growing my own. And that's just what I like to do. And I just grew these from seeds. They're so easy, easy to grow, just like green onions or any kind of onion. The seeds germinate really quite well. And so, yeah, let me see how I can do. Whew, there goes the trailer. Wonder if you could hear that. Somebody's going off to work today. All right, let's see. I'm going to be careful here. I also want you all to be able to see. Oh, yes. All right. So, see if I can knock off some of the dirt. All right, so there it is. Let me pull this down. Isn't she wonderful? So in terms of cooking or using that, you can even eat leeks raw, but I typically use them in cooking. You, of course, cut off the root end right here and cut off right about here. You don't use these. The leaves will go in the compost, but you use the leek from tip to right about where a bunch of the leaves start. Oh my goodness, I am so excited about this big, beautiful leek. Okay, moving around to the back side of this raised bed, I've got 2 rows of carrots. On this end, I have the new Carota variety that I have grown for years. It is a delicious, super sweet, reliable, orange carrot. And on this end, I have, let me take a look. I can't ever remember. I call them rainbow carrots. But the seed I used was Glow Stick Moonrise, and delicious. They have yellow carrots. I have purple carrots, orange carrots on this end. So there's a whole mix, and they have been absolutely beautiful and delicious. So let's see what I've got here. I'm sure I'm going to pull some up. They're going to be massive. When I leave the carrots in too long and they get really, really, really big, I tend to use those for cooking. What happens sometimes when carrots get really, really big is the center of the carrot can be a little woody. So I just cut off all the exterior when I'm using it, and I usually cook those. So I put it in soups or stews or stir fry or whatever. The smaller carrots, the more immature carrots, of course, are delicious raw. So let's see. I've got my hori just in case I need to loosen the soil this morning. Let's see what I can find. And you know, I'm just discovering as I'm harvesting this bed feels, I don't know, it feels a little dry in places. Like when I was digging up that leek, the soil seemed really dry. So I need to check my drip irrigation and make sure that it is working properly. Sometimes my drip will work fine. Like there's a length of drip here, three links, but they're all connected to one big tube. Sometimes, they might be working fine in one area of the tube and not the other. Okay, so this isn't too bad. So that's a new Carota, an orange one. So I'll stick that in my basket. But let me go down here and see if I can find one of these pretty rainbow colored ones and see what I can harvest from this end. Oh yeah, here is a purple one. Let's see if I can get it come out of the ground this morning. Of course, much easier to harvest root crops after a nice rain, or you can even soak the soil if you want to a little bit just to make it easier. Certainly in the springtime when I was harvesting, they were really easy to pull out of the ground. Woo! All right, so here's a purple one. Not bad. Oh, it has a funny looking tip. Look at that. I don't know if you can see that. The little tip kind of wound around itself. Okay. Well, I'm just going to keep going here and harvesting a few more and see what I've got. So again, like this size is perfect for eating raw. Just perfect. Oh, 2 for 1. All right, so 2 more purples. All right, I think that's going to do it for the carrots today. But I do want to turn the camera around before we head over there and show you a new plant. I've never grown these before. And if you have experience growing this plant, please leave me some tips and tricks in the comment section below, because I don't really know much about this plant other than what I've read, but I know I want to cook with it. And this is a plant I wanted to show you all. This is a tomatillo plant. Check out the buds. They remind me of little Chinese lanterns, and lots of flowers and lots and lots. So I have no idea. I mean, I'm assuming this is going to turn into a tomatillo, but it feels like it's hollow. Like, I don't know. I don't know anything about it except that I want to use them in my cooking. I want to make tomatillo sauce, tomatillo salsa. Yeah, but it is a pretty little plant. It's very cool and unusual. I mean, just look at that. All right, so help me out, anybody out there that's grown tomatillos. Oh, here's some other peppers that I'm growing this year. I should harvest some of these. These are Shishito peppers, and I even have this one. I didn't grow from seed, so I have the little plant tag, Shishito peppers. I guess they're great for grilling, so I might need to come back in here and harvest some of those. A lot of people harvest them when they're green, but as you can see, like I said earlier, if you leave a pepper on the plant long enough, it's going to turn red. And I'll zoom in. There's another shishito on that end. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me today in my raised bed garden, where I got to reap what I started sowing in the springtime. I got to, of course, pick some carrots and that big beautiful leek, but of course the shining star here is Miss Big Bertha. And of course some hot peppers and my one lone but absolutely delicious Cherokee purple tomato, which I'm going to be enjoying for lunch in just a few hours. So I hope it was an inspiration for you to at least learn about maybe some new varieties of veggies. And some of you may grow these, so I would love to hear what your experiences have been in your own garden growing some of these same varieties of veggies. I hope that one of your takeaways might be the importance of interplanting herbs and flowers in and amongst your vegetables to increase the pollinator activity as well as decrease some of those pests that like to attack some of our most common and beloved vegetables. So until next time, I wish everybody happy gardening.